You remember Barney and Friends, the kids show from 1992 about the make-believe purple dinosaur that taught kids lessons? Well, they made a reboot about it in 2024, so we're going to determine whether you should let your kids watch Barney's World by reviewing the first 4 episodes. Let's go! The main gimmick of this new Barney is that in animation, Barney's imagination powers are basically limitless. He can create backyardigans level imagination worlds for the kids to enjoy. They also did something different with the theme song. It's not nearly as catchy, but it's whatever. Their version of the iconic ending song, however, is longer and includes Barney saying he loves himself too. Like, I love me too.
It used to be Barney's Friends. Now it's Barney's World. The world revolved around Barney. Barney and I? Nah, this is some narcissism right here. It's I love you, you love me, not I love me too. Get that out of here.
Episode 1 centers around one of the new kid characters, David. David is a selfish little turd who's pissed that he has to endure the ungodly responsibilities of being a new older brother.
I don't want to stop playing. Why do I have to go home just because the baby needs a bath?
So Barney takes David and his friends into an
Imagination.
world full of grape jelly. Here, David helps his friends deal with the jelly traps, and he suddenly remembers he's apparently a helpful person and not a selfish little turd. So he's inspired to help his mom take care of his baby sibling. The message could have been a bit more centered on David actually learning the importance of being an older brother, but this is still the best episode of the first 4, by far, unfortunately.
Now, in the 4 episodes we watched, I've noticed a repeating pattern between the parents, guardians, and adults in the show. Their involvement and interaction with Barney is limited, but they do have some knowledge of his existence, the way their eyes and movements kind of match Barney's whatever he's doing on screen. And sometimes it's a little inconsistent because Barney is supposed to be imaginary, so why are the adults in this show kind of acknowledging his existence? Because sometimes they're like the kids are being kids, and other times I'll point out later on down the line, they'll be looking at certain things that they should deem impossible.
Episode 2 also centers around David. Despite the previous episode depicting him as at least somewhat brave, he is apparently scared of the dark. So when his action figure fails to serve as a light source anymore, Barney takes David and friends on a journey to appreciate the not so scary things of the night. David doesn't really learn to get over his fear of the dark, rather, Barney teaches him to be comfortable with the sounds of the dark, which is a dangerous message to teach to children who should be alert as possible when they can't see anything.
Now, Baby Bop and Billy are brother and sister. In the original Barney's Friends, they are their own developed characters. But in Barney's World, they are relegated to plot devices. In this episode, they're dressed up as bats and wolves to make David afraid. But Barney has powers of imagination, right? He can just make actual bats and wolves that's more realistic to actually show the audience that David is actually scared of these because being dressed up as a bat and a wolf isn't terrifying. And it doesn't show David getting over his fears because he's not dealing with anything.
Episode 3 is about Mel, a selfish little turd who doesn't like cleaning up after herself. And this is where the writers start fumbling the lessons. Mel has this special treasure box that she ends up losing, not because it got lost in the mess that she made, but because some wise guy showed up and decided to take Mel's treasure to protect it while he was cleaning the park, even though there was plenty of evidence to show that the kids would be around and would be back to pick the treasure box up.
A few moments later.
Wait, where's my treasure chest? No, 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 no! ¿Dónde se fue? Who would have taken it? Why?
So, after more Barney imagination tomfoolery, Mel eventually gets her treasure box back from the nosy, good-for-nothing thief, and she learns a forced lesson about cleaning, despite it barely being connected to the actual conflict. The real lesson she should have learned is not to leave your stuff unattended and unwatched because some bozo might take it. And the lesson fumbling only gets worse from there.
Cleaning Man, I'm on to you. Now, Cleaning Man, when he gives back the treasure box, Barney comes along, and what is he doing? Looking eye level to Barney? Or Barney's supposed to be imaginary? But Cleaning Man, that's not even the most egregious thing you do. Now in the show, They sing, the banger cleanup song. When we were kids, clean up, everybody do your share, clean up, everybody everywhere. Now, for some reason, they switched that around, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. Now, when Barney's helping clean up, he throws trash in the cleaning man's direction. And the cleaning man should be like, whoa, floating trash is going into the trash bin. That's not alarming. But no, he just goes with it. And then that's not even the last part. When everything is said and done, when everybody goes together at the end, cleaning man is looking at Barney again. What? That's three strikes, cleaning man. Is Barney real or not? Cause you looking at him and interacting with him a little too much. Is you imagining him too? Is you in your kid phase too? You a little old, you gray hair, you balding. Like you either 60 or you 10. Pick your age.
Episode 4 is titled One Ripe Tomato. Keep that title in mind because it's very important. This episode revolves around Vivi, a selfish little turd who doesn't like sharing, only she's actually justified in her selfishness because her friends are freeloading bums. Vivi and Nona own a garden and grew a tomato, okay? It's her tomato. She grew that crap. Why the flip do David and Mel feel entitled to it to the point where they want to do their own ideas with it? Now, Mel did help out a little bit, but David's bum just sang to the tomato plant under the delusion that his ear-bleeding voice would help it grow. Regardless, if they were really her friends, David and Mel would help without expecting anything in return. So Vivi is low-key guilt-tripped into accepting everyone's idea under the guise of sharing. But they shouldn't even be able to do everybody's ideas because there was only a single tomato to work with. That's why the episode is called One Ripe Tomato. Only plot twist, they end up getting more tomatoes, so it turns out the title of the episode was a lie. So there was never any stakes, never any reason to share, never any reason to compromise. The lesson gets entirely fumbled because there was never a limited resource to begin with. Barney's Rule teaches kids that they can have their cake and eat it too, and that compromise is something that can be flushed down the toilet.
After the non-existent conflict has been resolved, Vivi makes a painting with all her friends and Nana. But they sit at a table and they're passing the painting around and it gets in the hands of Barney? Nana, that's a floating painting! React! It makes sense that the kids, if this is just the kids, yeah, they can imagine Barney picking up the painting. But now that Nana's here, what is she seeing? Because she's looking at Barney in the painting like he's there. React! It's a floating painting! Kids, be alarmed! Ah, you're another one of those adults that can see Barney too! Is everybody in their kid phase? Is any grown-up an actual grown-up?
So the million-dollar question, should you let your kids watch Barney's World? Based on the first 4 episodes, I'm gonna say no. Too many fumbled lessons. That being said, the show isn't soulless, it's largely inoffensive, not like that trash Backyardigans song reboot, and there is some clear passion behind Barney's World. They just need to stop fumbling the lessons. If you want us to watch more episodes to see if Barney's World improves in future episodes, let us know in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and peace out.